Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most extraordinary tales in coin collecting history, a story that sounds like a dream but is grounded in incredible truth. Imagine reaching into your pocket for some spare change and unknowingly pulling out a single penny, no different in appearance from the hundreds you've seen before. But this one tiny coin, a 2013 1-cent piece, is worth not just a few cents, but a staggering $35 million. That's right, a coin that cost just a fraction of a dollar to produce has become one of the most valuable pieces of currency in American history. How could something so small, so ordinary, be worth more than luxury cars, mansions, or even private islands? The mystery behind the 2013 penny is one that has fascinated numismatists, historians, treasure hunters, and everyday citizens alike. It's a story of unexpected discovery, careful examination, and ultimately, a bidding war unlike anything the world of coin collecting had ever seen. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. To understand how this copper-coated coin rose to such astronomical value, we need to rewind the clock and trace the entire journey, from its humble beginnings in the Denver Mint to the jaw-dropping moment when it shattered all records at a private auction. It all started with a man named David Rowan, a quiet and somewhat reclusive figure who lived in the outskirts of Durango, Colorado. David wasn't a professional collector. He didn't have display cases full of rare coins, nor did he subscribe to numismatic journals. He was just an average man in his early 40s who worked as a warehouse supervisor and spent his free time hiking the nearby trails and tinkering with old radios. But like many Americans, David had a habit of tossing loose change into a jar at the end of each day. Over time, that jar became a small mountain of coins, pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, all waiting to be rolled, counted, or cashed in. One rainy Saturday afternoon in early 2021, David finally decided to tackle the jar. He poured the coins onto his kitchen table, rolled up his sleeves, and began sorting. It was slow, monotonous work, but strangely satisfying. That's when something caught his eye, a penny that looked perfectly normal but felt just slightly different in his hand. It wasn't shinier or duller, but its edges felt more defined, the strike seemed slightly deeper, and the weight seemed off, just by a fraction. David didn't know why he fixated on that single coin, but something about it compelled him to set it aside. That night, curiosity got the better of him. He dug out an old magnifying glass and examined the coin more closely. It bore the standard Lincoln design on the obverse, with the familiar D mint mark just below the date, 2013. The reverse displayed the Union shield, same as every other modern penny since 2010. Nothing jumped out as unusual. Still, David couldn't shake the feeling that this coin was special. So, on a whim, he posted a few high-resolution images of the coin to a popular online coin forum, asking if anyone noticed anything odd. The responses were mostly dismissive. "Looks normal to me," wrote one user. "Probably just a fresh strike," said another. But then, a private message arrived from a user with the screen name, CopperWizard42. The message was brief but electrifying: "You might want to get that penny professionally appraised. Trust me." At first, David hesitated. He wasn't one to chase fantasies, but something about that message pushed him to act. The following week, he drove 3 hours to a numismatic shop in Denver owned by a man named Elias McCready, a retired coin expert with decades of experience in U.S. coinage. Elias took one look at the coin, then another. He pulled out precision scales, microscopes, and various metal composition tests. After an hour of intense scrutiny, he looked up at David with a look of disbelief. "This," Elias said slowly, "is not just any 2013 penny. This is a unicorn." What Elias had discovered was nothing short of astonishing. The coin's metallic composition didn't match any standard alloy used in 2013. Instead of the standard zinc core coated with copper, this penny was made of a unique copper-nickel alloy, one not used since experimental minting runs in the early 1980s. Even stranger, the strike on the coin appeared to be from a die that had never been recorded, an ultra-rare design variation with subtle differences in Lincoln's profile and a misplaced D mint mark, slightly lower than standard. As word began to spread in numismatic circles, experts from across the country wanted a closer look. The coin was flown under armed security to the Smithsonian Institution, where a team of historians, metallurgists, and minting specialists convened to examine it. Their conclusion sent shockwaves through the collecting world. the coin was part of a secret test batch produced at the Denver Mint in early 2013. Only a handful were made, intended to explore a potential change in penny composition due to rising metal costs. The test was abandoned, and the coins were supposed to be destroyed. Somehow, one had survived, and it ended up in David's coin jar. Now the story shifted into overdrive. Offers began pouring in. First $10,000, then $100,000, and then seven-figure sums. But David, guided by Elias, knew that the coin's true value was far beyond early offers. Eventually, a private auction was arranged, with the coin's provenance and authentication documents made available to a select group of elite collectors. The auction took place in a quiet gallery in Manhattan, behind closed doors. Only a handful of bidders were invited, including international royalty, museum curators, and billionaire investors. The starting bid was $5 million. Within minutes, the bidding escalated. $8 million, $12 million, $17 million. The room grew tense, breaths were held, paddles raised. When the gavel finally came down, the final bid had reached a jaw-dropping $35 million, the highest amount ever paid for a 1-cent coin. The buyer remained anonymous, but rumors swirled that it was a tech mogul with a passion for rare American artifacts. David, stunned and newly wealthy beyond imagination, chose to retire early. He bought a modest cabin in the mountains, donated a portion of his earnings to historical preservation groups, and faded from public view. But the legend of the 2013 1-cent coin lived on, becoming a tale repeated at coin shows, history lectures, and numismatic forums around the world. But the story doesn't end there. In the wake of the auction, others began scouring their own coin jars, hoping to find another hidden gem. A wave of excitement swept through the nation's thrift stores, flea markets, and antique shops. Coin collecting, long considered a niche hobby, experienced a renaissance. The U.S. Mint was flooded with inquiries. Was there another batch of experimental coins? Could more 2013 pennies with the unique composition be in circulation? The Mint declined to comment on specifics, citing policy and security, but insiders hinted that similar test runs may have occurred in other years. Experts began developing sophisticated tests for identifying rare coins by weight, sound, and metal conductivity. Smartphone apps emerged, offering coin identification through advanced imaging AI. And still, no other 2013 penny with that exact composition and design has surfaced. It remains one of a kind, a freak accident of history, a survivor of bureaucratic oversight, and a testament to the incredible stories that even the smallest objects can hold. The 2013 penny saga also reignited discussions about the future of physical currency. With digital transactions becoming the norm and production costs of coins exceeding their face value, some questioned whether coins should be phased out entirely. But collectors and historians argued that coins, with their designs, dates, and mint marks, serve as tiny time capsules, reflecting the politics, priorities, and technologies of their era. The 2013 penny was more than just metal, it was a historical artifact, an economic anomaly, and a symbol of serendipity. So next time you come across a penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a second look. Examine the details. You never know what secrets might be hidden in plain sight. Somewhere out there, maybe in a junk drawer or under a car seat, lies another coin that could change someone's life forever. Thanks for joining us on this unbelievable journey through one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern numismatic history. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell icon so you don't miss any of our future deep dives into the world's most valuable treasures. See you next time.